time. Hello. Welcome to one of our Saiyunaste Soul Tribe Soul Chats with me. I'm Allison May, co-captain of Saiyunaste. Today I have the Elven Wizard, our Inner Realms Guide, our savior of children, of humans, of the planet, adventures and magic and more.
Yes.
Aaron Michael Pyne, if you're checking out his website.
Right.
This man, guys, has changed my husband's life. So I've been quietly stalking him for I don't even know how long, probably about a year. Maybe longer. It could be longer. I don't know. Time.
Yeah, probably a year and a half.
For joining. This is a really super special treat for me. What this beautiful human vessel, spirit, magic, wizard man is doing for the world is just incredibly spectacular. It's going to change the face of how we learn and how we teach our children. So I'm just gonna let you do most of the talking, my friend. I'm just so excited. So first and foremost, how did this story of your life begin? When did you know you're not the average bear?
Well, in many ways, it was there as a kid. I remember, probably first grade, second grade. Grew up here in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, in the suburbs. But I remember as a kid in school drawing geometric mandala designs, which I would now call like portal mandala designs. That right. At that age, I had no idea what it was called, and nobody around me gave it any thought. But I remember these very detailed geometric. I can replicate most of it, and little patterns, triangles, circles. Continually branching out, and expanding. So that's been there. And then it wasn't too long after that I found out about dragons and started drawing dragons and superheroes and things like that. So that was some connection was always there. And I remember as a kid, people always feeling my hands get very hot all the time on them, right? And then around the age of 16, 17, I first found out about astrology. I'd say that was my first, if you want to call it, gateway into the metaphysical universe, and was blown away by how accurate, described my personality when I really dove into the depths of it. And it wasn't long after that that led me to the bookstore and finding other metaphysical concepts and Kabbalah and tarot and meditation, and just started to eat it up, like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. And then right around that time, I found a flyer for the Victory of Light Psychic Festival in Cincinnati, which is still going on this day. And it's, pretty good sized psychic festival. And I went there like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. And ended up getting readings from different psychics. And they all said the same thing. They're like, you're a master at this. You've done this many lifetimes. You're going to accelerate. And I'm like, every one of them saying the same thing to me. I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I'm like, all right, this is interesting.
That's great. Okay, got it.
Got it. And, again, it was, although I was reading these books, it was new to me, and nobody around me in my life or my parents were into this sort of thing. So it was very, outside of the box of reality of life that I've been living. My uncle, who I'm close with now, is very into Buddhist meditation, but he always lived on the West Coast. So, he wasn't really around much when I was young. So it was really, this was a whole new world. And then the last lady I got a reading from was like, oh, I offer these classes on, connecting with your spirit guides, starting to work with energy, chakras, things like that. She's like, I think you should come. This was right around my 18th birthday. And so I decided, like, okay, let me go check this out. And I went to this class, and I was this 18-year-old kid with all these older women. And I'm like, kind of like, what am I doing here? Is this what I'm supposed to be? Right. And then
no worries.
Right. And she started taking us, on these meditation journeys to meet our guides. And then we come back and we share. We're supposed to journal, and I'm like, I saw this, and it told me this, and everybody else is like, I kind of felt something. I sort of saw something, and I'm like writing pages of stuff coming through. But I did hit some self-doubts, did a class or two. It was like, okay, it was opening something, obviously, but again, it was still new. And I remember driving to, I think it was probably the second or third class. And I was like, there's doubts, right? Should I be getting into this? What is this? What do I do with this? Right? All that was coming up. And I remember coming off the highway to the stoplight, and this huge hawk flew right past the car with these little birds chasing it. And I always loved, since a kid, that was another thing. I always loved the big birds, eagles, hawks. Always, I remember as a kid, I had eagle posters everywhere in my room.
Yeah.
So this hawk flies by, these little birds chasing it, and just like right by my car. I'm like, what's that? Huh? And I get to class, and she's like, okay, we're going to connect with your animal spirit allies tonight. I'm like, okay. So we go into this forest, right? And then she calls forth an animal, and this big hawk eagle bird came. And so she has us asking questions. And then I, of course, asked, did that mean something, that hawk I saw on the side of the road? And it told me, yeah, that's you. Even though your own little thoughts or the thoughts of others might peck at you, that you're just going to soar above it all. And then I was like, okay, I'm in. let's do this. And that was like my first, I'd say, dedication or commitment to this path, and giving it my all. And then I continued those classes. That was, I don't know, an 8-week, 2 or 3 month thing, and developed very quickly there. And then my teacher sent me on to learn Reiki and other healing modalities. And by the time I was 20, I was a Reiki master. I did group classes. I started teaching people in the Reiki classes other stuff beyond Reiki at the same time. And then my wonderful mom, it was college. I was also going to college for a computer engineer at that time. But I was, getting interested in all this stuff. And so my amazing mom called around, and she was calling different places to see if this could be some sort of profession, practical.
Yeah.
Right. And she happened to call a hypnotherapist, and said, my son's kind of getting into this stuff. And she's like, well, she kind of knew about it a bit, a little bit about holistic healing. Again, this was 18 years ago. And she talked to her, and the lady wrote down my name and number. And then she told me this afterwards. She crumbled the paper up, threw it away. And then she got this hit. No, I need to call this guy. I need to talk to this guy. So she called me, and she said, well, would you come in my office? And I'd like to learn more about you and what you're doing. So, okay. So I came in and did a little trade. I did some energy work on her. And she was like, you can use my space anytime you need to do your healing work. It's like, okay. So I started doing, kind of my healing practice open at that age. And then I ended up doing some festivals and setting up a booth. And then the visionary artwork that I do started to come through around that time too. And at first it was just a way for me to sort of process what I was experiencing and seeing, and playing on Photoshop and layering images together and stuff. And then, of course, I showed my teacher, and different people I started meeting in the community, and they're like, oh, this is amazing, and asked me to do designs for them. And I started creating artwork and selling that. And at that time, it was a way for me to understand what I was seeing and also to share it, right? I was so visually open in these other realms. And so it was a way for me to start expressing that and getting that out there. And so, through my 20s, it was doing graphic design for many other spiritual businesses all over the world, helping spiritual practitioners ground their mission, their purpose, and bring it into the business. So those computer tech skills that were also always there kind of came in and helping me navigate the online world and the websites and technical things like that. And I continued to study with different mentors and do healing and offer different meditation courses over the years. But there always felt like there's something beyond all that for me. And, I kind of, I'll say, tried the path where I loved us doing healing work, doing classes, but it felt like I was supposed to be doing that, but I always felt like there's something else that was kind of just beyond that. I couldn't quite grasp what it was at that time. But I just kept going and continued building all these different things. And then, it was really about 2.5 years ago, this idea of Inner Realms Journey came in during meditation. And I saw, I'll back up. I was also into fantasy gaming, fantasy literature as a teenager, loved all that, always have. And in this meditation about 2.5 years ago, this vision came in. It was, to combine aspects of fantasy, gaming, and role-playing experience with all the spiritual meditation stuff that they, the gaming stuff was heavily inspired out of ancient mythology. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, was inspired by Tolkien, which was all inspired by ancient mythologies that he, put together and expanded upon. So it all sort of clicked. And, at that moment, I was like, whoa, this is really big. I don't know if I'm ready for this. But I wrote several pages of notes of the rough concept of it. And that gestated in my mind for a little while. And then into 2019, I ended up going on a trip to Bali for a couple months and just was sort of reconfiguring and like, what's my next steps? And then was there for 2 months. A lot of people were going there, maybe not so much right now, but that time it was a big kind of spiritual mecca and stuff to go there. And I loved it. It's a beautiful place. It's a little too like hot and tropical for me. I'm a little more cooler force kind of guy.
No.
Right. Yeah. And then I had a bit more time before I had to get back to the States. And then I saw, New Zealand's on the way home. And I knew of it from Lord of the Rings. I knew it was a magical place. I didn't know a ton about it, but I knew it was somewhere that I wanted to go to. And I was like, I can actually stop there on the way back for a bit. And so I was looking at tickets and, I didn't even know where to go. I didn't know much about the cities or where even to start. Right. And I was up till late that night looking online and couldn't quite figure it out. And then I was like, all right, I'll deal with it tomorrow or see what comes to me. And I laid down and I went into this lucid state and very clearly got, buy that ticket you saw, go to that Airbnb. And I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. So I bought the ticket and it was like, 5 days I'm going to New Zealand for Bali, totally outside of what I've done before. And I got to New Zealand and fell in love with it like right away. I was like, felt like home, like I've never felt before to my soul. Mm-hmm. And got to travel around there a bit. Beautiful place, beautiful people, super, super elvish and fairy and magical mountains and green and lush.
You're like, look at this nature.
Yeah, it's like, yes. Where's this been all my life?
What are you doing in Ohio?
Oh, yeah. Why was I born here?
Yeah.
And the Inner Realms journey was coming on more alive and had been talking to a few friends and they're like, you should do this, Aaron. It sounds super cool. And then I remember it was January 22nd, 2020, just a little bit before COVID. New Zealand's 2 islands, South Island and North Island. And I was taking a ferry from the South Island to North Island. And I was on the phone with a good friend of mine, Maya. He's worked for me. He's been a longtime friend. And she had just gotten off this big marketing workshop course. And she hit me. She's like, she's super nice and gentle all the time, but she's like, Aaron, what are you going to do with the next 5 years of your life and the next 10 years of your life? You got to come up with this business plan. And you got to. I was like, I've been driving all day. I was tired. Like, I don't know. I'll figure something out. And then, got across to the North Island. And that next day, I planned a Lord of the Rings day to go to Weta Studios, where they made a lot of props for the movie, to this beautiful park where they shot Rivendell, which is one of the city of the elves.
Yep.
And then to Hobbiton. So it was like a major 3-spot day for me.
So fine. Just live my dreams. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. I'm going to take you there. That's on my to-do list is retreats to New Zealand. That's coming. Got it all set up over there for us.
Perfect.
Yeah. I know all the spots and the people.
Good. You're gonna be my guy. Thanks so much.
Yep. We're doing the magic Inner Realms of journey adventures to New Zealand.
Oh my God. Yeah, we definitely should. Yep. Oh my God. All right. So you're visiting the studio. You've gone to Hobbiton. You've got all this. Now what?
Well, I go to Rivendell. So it's this beautiful park outside of Wellington. Forests, hills, and there's a little area where they shot some of the scenes from Rivendell, the Elven city. And there's a path there and there's signs there telling you what was what and what was what. And I'm sitting there and I love it. And there's a creek there and I'm feeling the energy. And then I'm contemplating this Inner Realms journey. And there's a recreation of the gateway, the Elven gateway that the heroes, the hobbits, the fellowship walk through when they decided what they're going to do and they leave to go on their quest to destroy the ring. So this was on the 23rd of January. And I said, okay, I'm going to build Inner Realms Journey. I'm going to bring these realms through. And I walked through that elven gate, making that oath to myself into this world, into the realms, to create this program, to create this platform, and give it all I got, and take this leap of faith into it. Kind of stepping outside of what I've been doing all these years, and build something completely new that I knew was radically different than anything else out there in the world. And so I went for it, and then held that in me. Went to Hobbiton, had a great time there. Went to Auckland, had a great time there. Connected with some beautiful people, and then I came back to the States, and was processing that journey. And then I got to visit a friend and I shared the idea with, and he's like, "That's amazing! Like, I want to help you get started." And gave me a first investment. I mean, this was within a week, 2 weeks of me deciding to do it. It was like, okay, here you go, get started. And other friends joined around, and so I was like, all right, I'm doing this. And I felt called to go back to New Zealand. I was like, I think that's where I need to give birth to this in a way. Like, that's the magical land, right? So I was like, all right, I was able to line up to go there for 2 months was my plan.
Wow. And that was during COVID too, you were able
This was right before COVID. I made these plans, and I got there March,
right?
March, right at the beginning of March. And then right after I landed, the world just blew up. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in New Zealand right now.
Forever.
And 2 months turned into 13 months.
Yeah.
And at that, they've gone through their trials the last year, but that year I was there, the rest of the world was going through its death process and the Great Plague, and New Zealand was pretty much safe. We had a few little lockdowns, and the borders kind of closed, but then it was pretty much normal. I could travel around. I got to do community events. I got to go to festivals there that were the only festivals that happened in 2020. I got to share Inner Realms Journey at a festival. I got to go to International Hobbits Day at Hobbiton, which is in September for Bilbo's birthday. Springtime for Bilbo's birthday. And normally, people come from all over the world. It was just people that were on New Zealand. So, and I had, at that point, developed some of Inner Realms Journey. I had my journal book with me, and had some of my elven wizard costume. So I was there dancing around at Hobbiton at this party, celebrating life. And I was like, if I die now, I'm good. I've got to dance around.
Seriously.
Hobbiton. But all this was me trusting that guidance. Like, okay, no, this is where I need to go. And didn't seem practical. And I remember even my dad being like, "Why are you going back to New Zealand?" Like, I was like, "This, I gotta follow this where I gotta go."
You're telling me, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that was like the best decision of my life.
Why not? Oh my gosh. So there you are.
So there I am, and
quote unquote trapped in New Zealand, birthing this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Inner Realms Journey. So I'd love for you to kind of speak a little about what Inner Realms Journey is and why I'm so moved by it.
Yeah.
It's so special. It really, really is.
That's amazing. Thank you. It combines, like I mentioned before, like RPG gaming aspects, right? A lot of these games, whether it's the classic tabletop or even a lot of video games, there's this concept where you create this magical character and you go on these different journeys and adventures, and the character develops and gains powers and wisdom and treasure and gets to explore different realms, different areas, from dungeons to caves or whatever, and that was all inspired by Lord of the Rings, and these heroes go on this epic quest. So this takes some of those aspects, but uses the style of guided meditation. So instead of playing a game externally with dice on a table or on a computer, you're simply listening to these audio meditations that guide you with my voice, and we got beautiful music and sound effects. And I'm even bringing in other voice actors now. And it's like you're listening to an audio book of an audiobook / movie, but it's using your own imagination to imagine the scenery that's being described to you. And you're going through these environments as your own mythical self, your avatar, right? And so you get to create your avatar and then explore these different worlds. So it has the fun and the entertainment of playing a game, or even watching like Game of Thrones TV series or Lord of the Rings movie. It's got this epic storyline that's unfolding that you're participating in. Now, the magic here is that you're also learning a lot of meditation techniques. As I've been studying, exploring these from all different traditions for over 18 years now. And so I've woven them all together. So you're learning breathing techniques, you're learning to work with your energy, you're exploring aspects of your consciousness, you're healing and integrating things through this fun journey.
Yes.
And at the core of it is that avatar, and you're developing your mythical self. And as we said, I'm the elven wizard. That's my avatar, and you meet me in there.
Oh, it's so cool.
And I'm kind of just like the wizard in Lord of the Rings, or that mentor figure you see in many stories. Like Star Wars, there's Yoda and Obi-Wan who kind of get Luke going, right? So I'm like that mentor figure that gets you going on your adventure, kind of tells you what's up, what's happening, and a bit about what you got to do, and kind of gives you the push to go do it. And I help you develop your avatar, and your avatar can be anything, right? It's a very open, creative process. I give you inspiration from games, from mythology, from folklore of elves and angels and fairies and gods and goddesses, but it's your own unique creation. And to me, it's your expanded self. And there's a lot I've seen the years over, like spiritual studies of like, oh, we have our higher self, we have a soul, but it's always sort of abstract. It's a sort of luminous, wise being, right? Mm-hmm. The avatar allows you to really crystallize that into a form that your human mind can connect with and identify, and then start to bring in, right? So, for example, mine, Elven Wizard, it's very clear to me what the Elven Wizard is, and it's continued to develop. And so it allows me to live and make choices based around that, which allows me to embody that. And to me, that's my highest joy. That's my most fun. It's my most empowered, creative self. So I can bring that into my life day to day, and create from that, and build from that, and make decisions and engage with others through that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing others doing this, and maybe speak to your husband, right? Where it's like they have that, and then it empowers them. They're like, yeah, this is who I am. And we've all been told stories of who we should be, what we should be doing, what's going to make us happy. Some of those might be true, but most of them generally aren't at our core.
Right.
And then what? Then we're kind of lost. Who am I? What do I do? This gives you a crystal clear framework, a model. You become your own hero. You become your own idol. And our culture is used to idolizing other people, whether it's religious figures or movie stars or whatever. And not that we can't get some inspiration and some ideas, but what's your avatar? I like, all that. I love Buddha. I love Jesus. I love some different musicians and this and that. They're all cool, but that's not me. Who am I? Maybe there's a little bit of aspects of some of those that are me, but I have my own unique. And so I've created the Elven Wizard, right? Even ancient mythologies. I love Norse mythology, Celtic mythology. Yeah. Loved many of the gods and goddesses. Super cool. Greek. Since a big kid, loved all those. And so there's aspects of those I like, but again, it's like I'm the Elven Wizard. That's my own thing. That's super aligned for me. And some people in Avatar, they're like, oh yeah, they connect very specifically with particular god or goddess, and maybe there's more aspects. I think somebody was sort of a sphinx, so there's more of that Egyptian thing for them. Cool, right? If that gets you going and juiced up, do it. So it's very open. But then through this platform, through the Inner Realms journey, you get to develop that more, learn more about it, and then all kinds of fun stuff to how do you implement that into your life? How do you bring your avatar into your day-to-day from, what you choose to wear, decisions you make, how you engage in relationships, partner, work, whatever. How can I show up as the Elven Wizard wherever I'm at? And and seeing how that can transform how you show up, show up in your authenticity, your integration, all of it.
It's amazing. So something that I really love about it, I know so many people who are like, oh, I hate meditation. It's so boring. I always have to be quiet or whatever. And so what was so great. And so for those of you who don't know, my husband, Jared, was one of like the beta testers for this. And it was the most fun. I've never seen a human being get so, he's like, gotta go. I gotta do my internet. Gotta do sleep. Right. And for him to come and be excited about it, you know, about something that, you know, he loved using his mind. Of course, he loved D&D and all of that stuff, but to really engage in it, it was just so beautifully woven in. And I'll never forget when he rolled out, he goes, they just use soul language in that elven dialect. He's like, I felt it open my heart. He was like, it is so great. He like snuck it right in there, like no big deal, right? And that's what really, to me, made it so special, because you made every moment of learning, of teaching, right, so fun.
Yeah.
And so to watch that unfold and watch the progression as it goes through is just incredible. And so now you're kind of talking about really focusing on the children too, right? Could you speak a little bit more about that? This is like, I want them in all the schools, man. This is so cool.
This is it.
So cool.
Well, so when this vision came, when I started working on it, I knew at some point there was going to be a kids aspect to this. I've always loved kids and been able to really have fun with them. I've got an amazing 10-year-old daughter, who I forgot to mention did in a way help build this in multiple ways.
She will know.
She will know. Yeah. When we were, I used to read books during stuff, bedtime stories, but I would also guide her through little meditation journeys. And I would say, okay, you go to the tree, and instead of the elven wizard, it was Mr. Green was a little gnome, and he gives you a token to go to a different realm. And so I would kind of guide it, but it was her being her princess self, princess fairy mermaid, and doing, right, of course, and doing her little journey, and she would add in bits. So that was like the early prototype.
Yeah.
And then the logo, I remember I had the idea for it. I'll show it off here. Work with the thing here. Is that going to work? Let's see.
It's convenient because Jared has that as his backdrop when he goes.
Oh, right. Yep. Right. I love it.
I love it. The tree of life and everything. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about why you chose that logo?
Yeah. So she stayed up that night. She was like, "Can I stay up?" I was like, "If you help me with this logo, you can stay up late." Okay. So I remember she was sitting right here up till like 11 at night helping me with this. So yeah, the tree of life is on here. Let's see, is that going to work? If I can do it like that. There we go. So you got the spheres on here, right? That represent each of the realms of the tree of life, and the branches and the roots. And then, of course, this person meditation holding the mana symbol. And the mana is a life force, the energy, if you will, but the life force, we call it mana, through all the realms. And as you're exploring these realms, you're collecting, you're bringing that life force, that wisdom, that consciousness from those realms into yourself, into your heart, right? And you're this avatar exploring these realms in the center. And then we've also got the 4 directions around it outside here, 4 elements. So that's all part of it. There's also the Norse runes in the background, which are also sort of encoded into some of the adventures and journeys, and there's more to do with them. So it's a little bit of the whole, this is like what you're doing. You're this person in meditation exploring the realms in here. So when I was in New Zealand, I connected with this amazing woman, Emma, who's been a public school teacher for 20 years in the UK and then in New Zealand. And she was on her journey and doing a lot of meditation work. And we connected, and I showed her what I've been building. And so she dove in and she loved it. And it was like instantly helping her with, some of her challenges and things she was going through. And then she's like, I'd love to share this with the kids in my class. She was still at public school at that time. I said, cool, go for it. And so she started taking the kids through this thing. And, at public school, which was awesome that she was able to bring it in to her classroom. She'd been there for so long, the principal, like, kind of do whatever you want at this point. She was having these kids, there's boys that she had trouble with. anything creative, they wouldn't touch. Write a paper, do artwork, blank stares.
Not
She had
into
them not into it. Had them do their avatars, pages. Can we have more time for writing artwork? Can we have more time for artwork? It just like opened up something for them. And the girls were loving it. You know, all of them were just creating these avatars and their experiences and wanted to do, can we do a journey again? Can we do the journey again? So they loved it. And that was at the end of that term. So she got to run a few weeks. And then she had her next year students who were a little bit younger, more than 8 to 9. And so right off the start of the year, she started taking them through this, and it became a foundation for a lot of their year. And so she developed activities based on it. And, you know, she'd call me and say, here's what I'm thinking. And I give her feedback and ideas and stuff. So we kind of got to play test and develop it with these kids. And they were amazing and loved it and created all kinds of dioramas and artwork and music and projects around it, research projects, all kinds of stuff. So it was sort of our demo and development group, and they were excited to be like kind of at the forefront, the first group to go through this. They were super stoked. And then, you know, even at the end of the class, she had me come in as the Elven Wizard, and the kids, you know, they meet me in the game as the Elven Wizard. So they were so excited to like meet me in person. So I went into this.
It's fine, real life. It's fine.
Yeah. So I remember that day clearly. It was the first time I'd done this, walking into a public school, decked out with my cloak and my wizard staff. It was like, all right, this is my new life. I was going into this as the other wizard. And I remember her class was in the back of the hallway, and all the classes had windows. So I'm walking down the hall, and all these kids in these other classes like popping out. Is that a wizard? There's a wizard walking through the school, and I'm just going down the hall like, yep, this. It begins. So yeah, I got to her class, and they were so excited. They showed me all their projects they were doing, and I had a great time just being playful with them. And they sang me a song they wrote. And then I guided them on a magical journey then. And I brought some like little crystals and trinkets. So I gave them all gifts, and they loved it. And that was at the end of my New Zealand trip. So they all knew I was leaving to come back to the States. So they all like, and it was still a bit, you know, it was a little bit calmer here, but it was still pretty crazy. Here it was March last year now. So they were all like, you know, hope everything goes okay in America. Yeah. Oh, I had them in the journey. I said, you need to go to, I took them to this cloud dragon. And I said, the Elven Wizard needs you to go collect some magic from this cloud dragon, because the Elven Wizard's going to America, and I'm going to need some magic over there to help sort them out over there. So they each gave me their little story. They wrote me some beautiful thank you letters, and I still, like, if I'm ever feeling down, I just read one of these thank you letters from the kids about how great it was. And you know, they sent me off. So since then, we've continued to develop all the kids stuff and programs, and Emma's gotten to run other kids workshops online. We've worked with a few tutors who have been, you know, play testing it and giving me feedback. I've got to present at a small school in front of some teachers and just seeing how this could be implemented. And I feel like we're getting really close. We now have a 60-page activity book.
Incredible.
Set up in 12 lessons. And so each lesson is an audio. And anybody that goes to the site, if you sign up, you're going to go through these audios. It's the avatar activation journey and then the first 7 realms. So we got a lesson plan. So each audio then has pages of activities, art, writing, history, research. There's even some science and math in there, vocabulary, theater, social, emotional stuff. Group discussion stuff on each one of those. So that's designed to be very flexible for a teacher, a tutor, a stay-at-home parent, you know, a nanny. Anybody can run this and use as much or as little as they want to. It can be a whole full-on curriculum and pretty age versatile, pretty much 8 and up at this point. And the idea is that somebody can take this and run the kids. And like I said, they're so much more excited and engaged and ready to do this stuff. And they're tapping into their imagination, the creative potential, they're finding empowerment. If you're doing it as a group of kids, there's a really awesome synergy that starts to form because they see each other as their avatars. They understand each other. They understand what to expect from each other. They can honor each other. Okay, yeah, you're the wizard. You're the warrior. I understand what you're doing and how you work. Right? It becomes
Yeah.
very clear. And then, yeah, they're going to get more out of this. I still want them to have the academic aspects that they need to learn to navigate this world, but having it be inspired from what's within them
Yes.
and their own potential, and then bringing that out into these academic areas, and feel empowered in doing that. So these kids are just rocking it and loving it and wanting to do more and more.
Yeah.
So now I'm working on seeing how we can get this out into public schools, Waldorf schools, home parents, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So everyone who's watching now in the replay, this is our plan, because this thing, so we have 2 kids. We have now 8-year-old officially and a 16-year-old, and they both are engaged and they both love it and they talk about it. And what I love so much is the flexibility, because it's really tailored to the kids, or to grownups too, even, right? Like I don't necessarily have a super long attention span, but I couldn't wait to hear about Jared's I was like, what happened this time? Tell me what happened, right? And to even have something what I loved, you just kind of touched on a little bit, is the open communication, because now my 16-year-old, my 8-year-old, and my husband are all having this conversation, right? Where normally it's like, hey, we eat the dinner table, nobody speaks, everybody goes off. Right, but really engaged. And for me, I'm just when the peanut gallery with my popcorn, I'm like, oh my God, tell me more, it's happening. There's just so much to that, really, the bringing the community together. And what's so beautiful is this is something people can do all over the world.
Yeah.
Right, because it's within, which is just such an amazing, incredible thing. And something else you said that I really just love so much is bringing empowerment with each individual person, right? Not just children and adults, but just everyone as humanity, because if you've done this, right, we kind of know what to expect. Oh, you're a warrior. Okay, I understand why you're reacting that way.
Right.
Right, why you're seeing those things. That makes so much sense to me, really helping just identifying specific personality traits, if you want to call that, and just kind of being more accepting, right? Not so much polarizing, but finding the unity within the group. It's just,
that's it. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I see that. For myself as the Elven Wizard, as I'm sharing this more and living this more, and my friends and people around me, it's clicking. Okay, he's the Elven Wizard. They understand me more and they can support me more and interact with me in a deeper way. And so it allows more synergy, I find.
Yep. Yeah, it's like you make personality tests cool.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Instead of ENFP, you're like, hi, I'm an Elven Wizard.
Elven Wizard, yeah, it's way cooler, right? And I feel can synergize more easily, right, into the mind and the interactions and stuff. And also, my friends, if somebody sees me, I'm a bit off, I'm having a rough day or whatever, hey, where's the Elven Wizard? And it brings me back into that power. I'm the warrior, right?
Yeah.
So it shifts. And then if you have that family or a team or a classroom, it's just a whole nother level of synergy that I'm seeing. And I think it's going to continue as I can watch and have more groups doing it, of that interaction of your family, your partners, your friends.
Everyone
doing
can
that.
benefit from this.
Yeah.
And especially, I can't. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It really, truly, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
It allows us to really enjoy the adventure of our own lives too.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
So
that's part. I'm looking, okay, what would the Elven Wizard do? How do I live my life as the Elven Wizard and create that adventure, and what's fun and exciting for me, and how I live and how I work and how I play, all of it. I've always wished there was more magic and a magical experience in this world, and for many years I was kind of like, where is it? And then I'm like, oh, I gotta create it. I'm the wizard. I'm start building it. Nobody else seems to be right.
Yes.
So it's bringing it. And then like I said, this my vision with this is to change education, to change meditation, to change gaming, and then we're also it's also based around the Tree of Life. So every person that signs up, a tree gets planted on a monthly basis. We just planted, I think it was 150 trees through a tree service. So, I want to give back to nature and restore nature with this as well. So it's all of it connected, helping individuals, helping kids, and helping the planet at the same time.
Everything's amazing. Like everything you're doing, all of it. Now I'm extra envious, and I'm super excited to go on the next New Zealand trip for sure. It's just such a. It really does. You've really brought magic to the world. You've really brought. I mean, just watching my own family communicate, especially like in this time that it's not normal anymore for like everyone to like work their 9-to-5 job and then come sit down and eat at the table. Like there's so many families that don't do that. So, or like we're always kind of on the go. So for my entire family to stop and like choose to engage and like have a good time doing it and all be able to talk about something in common, which is like so rare.
Right.
It was just beautiful. But yeah, the vocabulary, the math, the music, I mean, really like my daughter's like making up songs and stuff like that's just, it's just so amazing. And it is really what you said. It's limitless in the possibilities and the adventure. And it's so easy. Something that Jared had me listen to it like the very first time. He's like, you have to hear this. This is like, it blew his mind, right? and it's like very direct. So different wire brains, right? Because not everyone's brain is wired different. Everyone, I feel like pretty much everyone can follow the steps. They're very clear, which I think sometimes is difficult for some brains, just how they're wired, because if the steps aren't very clear, like one after the other, they can't follow it. Right. Or makes it a little bit more difficult. So I loved that so much, which just, I don't know, clearly like you guys need to be obsessed about this as much as me. Like
that'd be great.
No pressure. Yeah. So I know we're kind of like slowly coming up to that hour, and I want to honor that. I would love for you to kind of just talk even more about yourself and tell everybody where they can find you and Inner Realms journey, and like where is the best place if they want to connect directly, if that's a possibility, and the best way to sign up for this or to get involved on their own adventure.
Yeah, perfect. So there's innerrealmsjourney.com, and you sign up there. You start for free. You get the first couple of journeys free, and then you subscribe from there if you want to go deeper into the realms. I've got 2 upcoming online group courses. That's at theavatarquest.com. And we got 2 things right now. There's a one-nighter where it's going to be a group of 12 of us. I'm going to be guiding you to really developing your avatar and then helping you implement that into your life. And then there's the 4-week one starting beginning of May. So we're going to be doing the avatar, our sanctuary, probably our animal ally, maybe one other component. And what's fun with both of them is we're going to get time to share those with the group and then have the group reflect back to you additional components, which in what I've done myself and testing is very powerful to help you develop that even further. So it's going to be super fun, and you'll get some fun practices to do. So that's the more in-depth one, a little more custom, because you'll get to share, okay, well, this is a particular area of my life that's a little bit challenging right now, where I don't feel like I can bring my avatar in. So I'm going to help you navigate that and bring your avatar into that. So those are the 2 classes. And then you can reach out to me. I do some private sessions. You can go to aaronpyne.com or Aaron Michael Pyne, either one, and reach out to me for private sessions for healing work, intuitive guidance. And really a lot of that is becoming, I have people come to me and they're like, oh, I've got this ache or this problem, or I'm dealing with this energetically, spiritually, whatever. And I'm like, oh, we just need to get you in your avatar. And that kind of just sorts all those things out. So the private session is really cool in helping people get very clear on that, and then getting them into that and helping them bring that into their body. And that's something we didn't talk about too much is right, the meditation experience. It's this internal thing. But there's a lot of it is bringing the body. How do I live this physically and draw the elven wizard or my avatar through my physical body, which can open up a lot of wellness and vitality in the body. So that's a big piece of it too. So helping people with that. So yeah.
It's amazing.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. What a great way to become a human.
Yeah.
Guys, I really, 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 really want you to go and check this out. I can't even emphasize, like I've witnessed it in my own life, like to see it. It's just crazy to me. A 60-year-old, my 41-year-old husband, I think he's 41. I don't actually know.
So are they?
And then like
4,041.
I know, right? It's like after 40, whatever. And my 8-year-old get in this beautiful conversation and get excited about and communicating and just seeing that and just reading about it and been following for a while now, and just the engagement in what you're doing. Like everyone who's watching this today or whatever replay, it doesn't matter because time is not real, so who cares? Please do yourself a favor, especially those who are looking to kind of and are ready to take their life in their own hands and just have a completely unique experience. And I think what you said so beautifully, which resonated so deeply with me, was really like idolizing yourself, right? Like really, really doing it and allowing each individual with their own beautiful and unique frequency to just grow and thrive. And just like you were saying, and bring it into your everyday life, into the humanness.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful thing. So
thank you. That's it. It's
incredible.
It's, all these years of doing healing work for myself and helping others and studying all these things, everybody's trying to unravel the stories and the fears and the limitations and the traumas and all this stuff that's kept us bound up. And this, I don't say bypass, but allows us to move through that, connect with who we are, and then start to bring that in to alchemize all that stuff. Because we've all got our stuff we've picked up, right? So this allows you to start to make use of it. Because it's my belief the avatar decided to come in with those particular configurations to say, okay, those are things I want to unravel and use. It's like magical energy, it's mana, to be empowered and to transform this world. So connecting with that avatar allows you to make this huge shift in your perception of yourself and who you are and how you live, and then start to redirect and change. How am I living? How am I working? How am I showing up in relationships? Are these really aligned with who I am, or are they just what I thought I had to do or was told I had to do, or if my parents told me I had to do, right, or whatever? Like, no, this is not me. This is not making me happy. This is not really fulfilling why I came here. Let me start to clear this out and step forward as who I am, my unique self, and bring my gifts to this world, because I count. I have value. I have magic. I have essence. I have a right to be here as who I am, and shine in that. And so that's my invitation. That's my vision, is to see as many avatars as I can activate, dancing around and playing and doing their magic in this world. Yeah.
And to me, that just is so, that essence of like a lot of like the ascension talk and everything from 3D to 5D. I mean, that is really what you're doing. You're bringing it into this beautiful, and you created such a beautiful pathway for people to follow their own, like follow themselves, which is just like so brilliant to me, and to allow them to just choose their life as they want, and there's just so much freedom in that, and the rewards are endless. And it's just, we are at the very, 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 very beginning of this beautiful, incredible movement. And, it really is something that's so funny, because like, I'm like so excited for like 10 years from now. And
Lord God.
like you're like, there's still chat, like really surfaces. Like, remember that one time? Like, oh my God, guys! We're like, yeah, man, we're talking about it. It was so great. Yeah, it's just, you've done such an amazing job. I love so much how you trusted your intuition and yourself, and really allowed yourself to kind of follow your heart and soul, and still hold on to the brain, right? And being like, it doesn't make any sense. We're going to trust it. And there's so much in that story that is just so beautiful. And I cannot wait for the unfolding this. I literally tell everybody about it. I can't even believe we like finally our time aligned. So I can like go on the video. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. I can't wait. I'm going to be like sharing this like over and over. Hi. Look at this. So yeah, I feel like maybe I should open the floor up to any questions.
Sure. Yeah.
Are there any questions at this time for anyone's watching? Sorry, I know I've totally gone like literally 20 minutes beyond what I normally do. I'm like, I keep going. So if anyone has any questions, just drop them in the comments. If not, you can always comment later if you're catching this on the replay, and I can always just send them to the Elven Wizard.
Yes, glad to help.
Or perhaps even punish them. Some, I don't know. They could just be like me and be like, oh yeah. And you know what? You know what Aaron also does, guys? He's got a secret life. I was like, I Googled his name because that's what I like to do when I stalk people that I'm so normal, right? It's called Udemy, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Udemy, yeah.
Udemy. He has a self-study light language, soul language activator course. So if you're feeling the call to have the language of your light activated, and you haven't found the right activator, you're just watching things, I definitely recommend going and checking that out. Now I haven't taken the course, but just based on the Inner Realms thing, I have a feeling it's going to be like just like that. I'm just like, I think I'm going to go check it out anyway, just because I can only imagine.
It's similar. I made that before I started Inner Realms, but there's aspects of so it's interesting that you'll see kind of my evolution, but it definitely builds into that. And I do bring that, like you kind of mentioned, I bring that into the Inner Realms. And for me, where it's at now is it's the language of my avatar and the realms I'm connected to, and getting to share that. And it opens up both Udemy class, Inner Realms. It starts to call those realms through you to explore them. And they may or may not come through language for you, but they may come through art or dance or movement. To me, it's like it's an abstract form of expression, just like if you're doing artwork or you're going to dance. There's structured forms of art, and then there's the abstract, right? So it's that language and allowing these things to come through you and speak and move through you in your heart. And I know you share some beautiful ones, Allison. So that class just helps you overcome some of the fears, the restrictions, the doubts, the limits, and different practices to let that start flowing through you. Fun stuff, meditations, things like that, to get it moving and so you can explore. And so I've gotten a lot of people, loving it, and all over the world opening up with it. And so it gives them that I got
a lot of good reviews.
Framework.
I've been reading all of them. I'm like, yes.
Perfect.
And it's self-study too, so it's like work at your own pace, and there's no time, and it's really affordable. And so if you guys have been thinking about that and you really want to have that kind of experience, I definitely great. Everyone's just like, yay, hi, hooray.
Hey.
I know, it's so great. Guys, you don't even know. Like, you just go try it. Just go.
It's amazing.
Keep hooked. It's so much fun. It's such a beautiful way to like just bring it into this world. Just like you said, it's just such a beautiful.
Sure, it's fun for me. Like, so the journeys, right? The into the different realms. Generally, how it works for me is I go to these realms in my meditation first. I feel like I'm scouting them out.
Cool.
And generally, I'm dictating them. I've got a dictation app, and that gives me a rough script. And then I'll go back and polish that script. I've now got an editor who's helping me. So between the two of us, we polish that, and then I record it on the mic, and then I send it to my audio guy who's in England. And depending on how many we've got and what's going on, it can take a few weeks to get it back from him with the music, and he cleans up the voice and has the sound effects. And then I have to listen to it again. So then I go back to that realm, and I do it a couple of times because I'm listening into it for more like technical things, like, let's tweak the volume there or move that around. But then I'm also going back into that realm myself with this whole enriched experience of the music and the sound effects and me guiding myself. So then I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I'm in this realm. So I know if I get excited, I'm like, all right, we nailed it. Like, this is good, right? So you go back through it and then share it. And then it's fun. Sometimes I'll go back months later and like, all right, I haven't done the fire realm or this particular realm. I'll go back months later and listen to it again. Like, oh yeah, this is great. And get to explore those realms. And there's around 50 on there so far. I think Jared's, since he was with us beginning, I think he's done all of them.
Yes, he has.
Probably multiple times.
It's so fun because we'll just sit around and we'll just be like sitting at the bar, just like wherever we are, and we're both like in a realm's journey, and they hear him go, "What's that?" And he goes, "Will." I've done every single one, so let's go. Yeah, right. It's cool. I'm telling you, man. it's just amazing. I love that so much that you go back and you re-explore and just are in it. Oh, God,
Yeah. No.
that's
Yeah.
so cool. And to be able to listen to yourself, right? Like, I feel like that's like, woo!
Right. Yeah. And it's been interesting because, you know, for me as a kid, I was very quiet and timid. And so, yeah, I've had to work through some challenges there, but this whole thing is like based around my voice, and I've had to develop that, and my narrator voice has come out more. And then, you know, we are bringing in voice actors for different characters and female characters where they give you dialogue, but then, you know, some of them are me, and there's some, you know, different creatures that are very, I was doing one for there's this fire around. What are you doing? Yes. Exploring different aspects and bringing in their languages. There's one where it's like this ancient well being. He's like super old and kind of starts to mumble and trail off like an old man. But it's also super profound. So it's like I've gotten to explore those voices and bring that out. It's been
that's spectacular.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. Thank you so much for doing this today. Like, I am just honored and thrilled. I think everyone's just like me. We're just like, just keep saying words. Like, whatever's happening, say the words. I'll be sure to be sharing this a couple times, just resharing the replays, make sure everyone in the tribe gets a hold of it. I know it takes sometimes people like, I watched part of it. And I was like, go watch the rest. And come back and they're like, I watched the rest. And I was like, I'm going to do the thing now. Go do it. Right. So I'm so excited. I also want to hear from everyone who's here today and let us know your thoughts and share your experiences with the inner realms journey. Dude, Jared, like if y'all want to get into it, Jared, from, you know, he's in Saiyunaste too. So you can like literally just talk to him it's so cool. And I think he's like, you do mentorships on there.
Yeah. So we've got, so basically private sessions with me. I put Jared on there because I know he's been super fan. So he's up there for a session if you want like somebody to help you develop more, or if anything comes up, because some of these journeys are intended to kind of go in and really do some major healing and transformation. So if anything comes up, there's support for that, or even just somebody to really develop that avatar, be able to bounce those ideas off somebody and get more reflection and stuff. So that's super fun.
Well, definitely let us know next time you open up the voice actor interviews. I'm sure like half the tribe, you're gonna be like,
yeah. Actually, I need a few female voices. You gotta have, my audio guy is very particular. You gotta have like a good mic. I try to send him a few voices. It's like, we're not using this. Like, so, but if you got a good mic and stuff, we got a few female voices I need.
I'm in. Dina down here is all. Dina's like me. Yeah.
Perfect.
So just let us know. Like, well, we'll get together. I'll get your info and I'll put that out in the tribe. Yeah. And you can give me the rules and regulations if you're still looking.
Yeah. He gave me, I've got a
itinerary
specification sheet. Like, you need to record at this quality and da-da-da.
Yeah, but that makes sense. If it's not a good recording, there's nothing he can do with it.
Yeah. I brought somebody in that was a professional voice actor that did stuff for commercials and things. And she sent me one and it wasn't up to standards. And he actually got on a Zoom and like helped her, I think, got her a new mic and got her set up.
So. Oh, I love that. Yeah, you can just go ahead and list the specific mic he's looking for. That's like so easy.
Yeah.
That would be perfect. Yeah, that's great. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so awesome. So awesome. Thank you. Yeah, y'all, if you're just like literally hopping on right now, I so support everything you're doing. Thank you so much. This will be on the tribe. It's actually even in our YouTube channel. Awesome. Hopefully that won't just disappear again, because periodically it does that. It's so fine and normal. But it's there, and I've got it saved in all places now. So you'll be seeing the place pop up. Thank you all so much for joining with our Elven Wizard, Aaron Michael Pyne. You can find that Inner Realms Journey. Please go check it out. You're on Instagram too. You got some pictures. I listed all this stuff. He's everywhere. You guys got to go. You got to go. You have to, right? Like, you don't have to, you have free will, and it's so great, but you would like yourself a lot more.
You'll be way better off. Life will be way funner.
It really is. Like, I've seen it in my household. That's all I can say. And like, that's my greatest, like, incredible. Like 3 different generations speak to each other with joy and excitement. I'm like,
Right.
this is what it's about. So
That's it. That's what it's about.
all right, Dina, you and I we'll get together and we'll shop about mics. That's what we'll go to the microphones and go. So all right, cool. All right, well, we're just about that hour. Thank you again. I'm going to end the broadcast and properly say goodbye to you. Thank you everyone for joining. It's just so great to connect for the soul chat. Keep a lookout. Dina now is doing some soul chats in the soul tribe. So we just had a really great interview with our friend Vana, who is just incredible. I'm really just getting to know everyone in the tribe. So also, if you're interested in connecting and doing a soul chat, or if you know definitely in the tribe, just holler at me. We're all about meeting each other and sharing all of our beautiful, beautiful gifts. So thank you all so much for joining. Catch the replay. Just put your comments in there. I always go through and check them out too. So I think that's about it. We're going to wrap up. Yep. All right. I'm going to end the broadcast, y'all. Catch you later. And thank you so much. And we're ending broadcast.